Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well because today we're talking about music, and today we are looking at some recent pickups. Now, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos for a few reasons. One, I'm being more mindful about, space, finances, things like that. So I've slowed down on the broader collecting aspect, and I've been more choosy. I'm kind of, I'm curating a collection of my music a little bit more than, sometimes I feel like we see other people doing these haul videos or something like that, and we think, oh, I should get more. I should get more, add to a library, which is great if that's kind of what you're building. But I realized I should be more selective with what it is I'm picking up. So that's kind of why I have added more items recently into my own collection, but I haven't done any videos about them. But I did want to do one about this kind of recent haul because it was all from one place. I went through my collection, kind of took out stuff I haven't really listened to. Either it wasn't for me, from other collections that have sort of inherited over the years. And I went, got some credit at a really cool place called Way Cool Goods out in Langford, British Columbia. And yeah, I just decided to kind of trade it all in, and I got some great stuff in return. A lot of sort of missing pieces in, discographies, things like that. And I was really happy to go for it. So I'm excited to show you what I got. So I got some records and I got some CDs. We're going to start with three CDs. The first one, um, Atom Heart Mother by Pink Floyd. There's the classic cover there, the very iconic cover there. And we know it was tested. There we go. Again, Pink Floyd, one of those bands who I think up until Metal, which is the album that comes out right after this one, very experimental, psychedelic. I do think there's a little bit to love on this album, but I think really for me, Pink Floyd is kind of a metal onwards kind of band. But I think maybe I'll go back collect some of those earlier albums. But for me, I'm like I think this is good for the early Pink Floyd for me, and I'm happy to have kind of everything after this album. But happy to kind of add that in because for all intents and purposes, I don't necessarily feel right now I need to go back earlier. Now, the next one, it's a really small discography, and I've never really bothered. I enjoy most of it, and I've never really bothered to complete it. But I'm gonna try and fix that now with these two albums. This one is "Killing the Dragon." This is a limited edition version by Ronnie James Dio. There's a cover there. You can see it says limited edition on the side there. What is limited about it? From what I could tell on, because there's no bonus tracks. There was a version that came with like a slipcase and a poster or something. And my guess is that's what this would have come with. No slipcase, no poster, anything like that, but I'm guessing that's what this version is. And then the other album from Dio I got is the last one, Master of the Moon. Whoa, we're zooming in there. Oh, look at that evil face. Perfect. No limited edition on here from what I can tell, just the last album. And again, even these later Dio albums, I don't think they're quite as strong as a lot of the earlier stuff, although Killing the Dragon is pretty good. But it's really good stuff, I think. So those are the three CDs I got. Now let's get into the albums. And again, these are just kind of filling up my collection of bands I'm already kind of into, or being more mindful about what it is I'm adding. So because of that, I'm just kind of real pleased, I think, with all of these. So we're going to start with a compilation, which is White Hot and All Out Metal Assault by Polytel. There we are there. Uh, so this is obviously a compilation, and you can kind of see on the front and back who is on it. So side one, we've got Rock You Like a Hurricane from Scorpions, Distant Early Warning from Rush, Turn Up the Radio by Autograph, Midnight Maniac by Crocus, Don't Stop Running Y&T, Runaway, Run Away Slade. That's just side one. Side two, In and Out of Love by Bon Jovi, Heavy Metal Shuffle by Kick-Axe, Metal Queen by Lee Aaron, Say What You Will by Fastway, Thunder and Rock by Fist, and Heavens on Fire by Kiss. What a collection. What a collection of tunes. I was listening to that before recording, and it's a great summertime album to put on your rotation. Next, an album I feel is underrated. I really like this one. This is A by Jethro Tull, and you can see the cutout right there. Can I? Hello. Oh, almost. Again, you've got Ian Anderson, Martin Barr, Dave Pegg, Mark Penny, and Eddie Jobson on keyboards and violin. A lot of people say this is kind of the new wave album. They go, why are we zooming? Zoom, buddy. Anyway, A lot of people are down on this album. I actually really enjoy it. I do think there's stuff in the Jethro Tull catalog that comes later that I'm not quite a fan of, but this one I do enjoy. And I agree, there's a lot more. Zoom, what are you doing? There's a lot more different influences on it. But I really like it, and I'm happy to add that in. Again, just kind of going through those discographies of the bands I already know I enjoy, and just making sure that I've kind of got those records down. And speaking of which, we have Power Play by April Wine. I believe this is the follow-up to Harder, Faster. There we go, obviously with the big hit, Enough is Enough. And then you've got some other tunes as well. So going there, there's back there. Great album, great album. So happy to add that in too as I'm kind of going through that catalog. Again, just filling up all these gaps. The next two are two fantastic prog rock live albums. Happy to add into the collection. Again, I think if you're going to do like a prog rock battle of the live albums, I mean, there's a lot to go from, but these two, they're both doubles, so I think that kind of lends itself well. First, this is Genesis Seconds Out. So two sides, you've got so much good stuff on here. Show the back there as well. We've got, Squonk, The Carpet Crawl, Robbery and Assault and Battery, Afterglow, side two, Firth the Fifth, I Know What I Like, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and The Musical Box. What a great selection there. Side three is the entirety of Supper's Ready, and then you close off with Cinema Show, Dance on a Volcano, and Los Angeles. Again, like great, great tunes. And then this last one here is a fantastic live album. And I just love the art as well on here, especially the art on the back. And this is Yes Songs by Yes. Again, double here. Of course, with that classic Roger Dean artwork. Ooh, what you have on here is we called each album a volume. Volume one, you've got opening, so an excerpt from the Firewood Suite, Siberian Katru and Heart of the Sunrise. Side two, Perpetual Change, and then And You and I. Volume two, you have Mood for a Day, excerpts from Six Fives of Henry VIII from Rick Wakeman and Roundabout. Side two, you've got Your Move, All Good People, Long Distance from Around the Fish. Volume three, side one, you have all of Close to the Edge, and then side two, Yours is No Disgrace and Starship Trooper. Looking at this, I mean, I've heard this album many, many times. It's a great live album, a little muddy, but pretty good. This is really the same set most Yes live albums are. And as much as I love Yes, they really don't change it up all too much in terms of their current live sets, or at least when they're not touring for an album. Which is why I wish they keep putting out, former bootlegs as live albums to buy either for Record Store Day or when they're doing these deluxe editions. And I just really want them to put out live stuff that has the deep cuts from what they were touring at the time. If you get into a lot of their 90s kind of bootlegs and stuff, you do see that there. But looking at this, I'm very happy to have this great album, but it's like I've heard these songs done live many times. But that said, we're real happy to have all of these in my collection because, again, I'm trying to be a little more choosy and careful with, yeah, how I fill my space, how I spend my money, but also how I'm kind of appreciating things. Am I just getting something to put on the shelf and be like, yep, that's my personality right there. And I think that's allowed. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But when I was kind of reflecting on how I'm building my own collection, that was something that stood out to me is I should really be excited and actively want to listen to the things I'm sticking there as well. So that's it. That's a haul video I've done, and I'll probably do less of these videos kind of going forward as well. Not because I'm not adding stuff. I've gotten tons of stuff recently that I haven't talked about, but I feel like I'm more excited to talk about the music itself, just kind of what it represents to you, those stories. And I find when we do these kinds of videos, even this one, I'm not necessarily talking about what these albums mean to me. And I think that's kind of the important part of the discussion of why these sort of channels and communities that we're building are so crucial to each other. So with that, I'm pretty pleased with all of these. Let me know some of your recent pickups, some thoughts on what I got, and all those kind of cool comments down below because engagement is a good thing, I guess. But I'd rather just have a chat about music. So whatever you want to talk about that's totally unrelated, put that in the comment. Let's talk about our favorite soup recipes. Okay, that's it for me, and I'll catch you next time.